Hello, welcome back. So, I'm going to scrap these pictures from Mr. Ding and I at Lyme Park, just the other side from us of Stockport in Cheshire. Some selfies I took with Mr. Ding, being Mr. Ding, fooling about. So that's what I did originally, and then I thought, actually, I like the pictures a bit smaller. So I did a collage with 3 a sheet instead of 2 wallet-sized pictures. And then when I'm looking for some inspiration, I saw something and I thought, oh, that looks good with labels. And so I thought I need to picture even smaller to do that. So I've done 6 on a sheet and created a collage. So I mean the only thing I'm missing is 1 photo per sheet and having 6 photos. So yeah, so this is how I'm going to scrap pictures. So we're having all 6 in a collage square on 1 sheet. I'm going to trim them, going to cut them out so they're in 6 individual pictures, and still not 100% sure what I'm doing. It might have frames, it might have tags. I might go back to one of the other incarnations of the photos. So I'm going to do some planning, do some trimming, and I'll be back. Hi, okay, so still don't know what I'm doing, but I've cut these squares out of this sheet. This is DLS Design Outgoing, which would be June. I think it was June's kit. And so I've cut these 6 squares out and I've put a photo behind each one. That's as far as I've got. I'm not sure what I'm doing there. I have these stamps with this kit, so I'm thinking, so you've got good times of this, highlight, fun day. So you've got, you know, these squares. I might do that. I'm not sure. So I'll be back in a bit. I think it's safe to say things have slightly evolved. So I was thinking that the photos were getting lost in that paper, and I wanted to sort of bring some things up on different levels. So I've cut the squares out of the photos and back them on. This green is DLS Design, but it's not from the same collection. It's from Zen, an older collection. And then I've cut some of the squares out, which are the florals and some of the words, and I'm going to do it 4 by 4 instead of 6 by 6. I've trimmed 1/2 inch off 2 sides from this paper, and I've gutted the yellow. What I have thought I'd do is stitches. So because I've decided to do stitches after I've trimmed this, I need to do maths. So halfway is 5 3/4. So I'm going to mark halfway, so that there, and I'm just going to do a really light line, which is what I'm going to stitch along. And then I need to not get these mixed up because I like the order they're in. Take these off to the side. So with the pictures, a couple of them I've put up on my usual big Sticks 2 3D foam, and some of them I've done on Stampin' Up! Dimensional because they're not quite as high, so that I get different heights to it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now I've got my cross in the middle, is I'm going to go 3 inches each side, so that then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. That's 3 inches out from the middle. And I'm not doing my lines all the way to the end because I'm not going to do my stitching all the way to the end. It's just kind of like a guide for where my stitching's going to go. And then I'll go stitch. Right, I'll be back when that's stitched. So that's all stitching done. I used some washi on the back to stick down the ends. So I've pulled the thread from the front through and stuck all the ends down, make it, you know, nice and neat and not all over the place in my album. Just rubbed out what you could see still of the stitch lines, and I'm just marking in there 1/4 of an inch in from 2 sides to try and get it square. So just placing the squares back in the grid, and I do change my mind about some of the heights on some of these. I was looking there at the labels because I'm determined to use them because I love them. So some of the heights on them, I've doubled up the Sticks 2 foam pads. Some of them I've just got 1 foam pad high. Some of them I've got Stampin' Up! Dimensionals 1 high, and then there's some with the Sticks 2 foam pad with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals on top, as well as some just stuck straight flat to the page, just to give lots of different heights to the page. Didn't want everything flat, or you know, just a couple up at one height, so it just gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 different heights of the elements on the page, and I really liked that. And some of these that I'm sticking straight on now, I do change my mind and add, there we go, add a dimension, add a foam pad behind. So just getting the stamps out that came with Outgoing and stamping in Memento on some white cardstock. It looks like a switch that'll turn the layout over there to stamp. I didn't. This is another piece of card. So yeah, I cut 2 squares out that I've stamped from the stamp set that came with this collection. And one of these I will do my journaling in. So I cut 2 more of the squares from the pattern paper. You can see I've used red on both of them because I only have one red element on the page. That's the flower on the third one down on the right. So I do pick some red squares out for the journaling and also the title. We were at Lyme Park, so these little puffy stickers are just perfect size, fit inside the stamped squares, you know, for a small title. It was more of this is where we were than the title for the page, because the page isn't really about the place, it's about these silly pictures from Mr. Which is basically what the journaling says, that, you know, doing selfie and Mr. Ding being Mr. Ding. This whilst we were exploring the gardens. So using some of these epoxy dots, circles, stickers, whatever you want to call them, from the collection, and do my usual visual triangle of 3. I do end up managing to use one of those tags, sorry I couldn't think of the word then, from that sheet. So I do cut out one that has some writing on it that I don't think I'll use. It's I want to sleep under the stars or something like that. I don't do camping. My idea of camping is a hotel overlooking campsite. That's the closest you will get me to camping. I mean, I have been camping. I will at a push camp if there is a shower block with a proper shower and a proper toilet. You know, and that's something I will do. So yeah, I don't do camping. It's just not me. It's actually chemical toilets that make me ill. Okay, so that's too much information. So just going through the huge embellishment pack that came with this collection and finding some bits, popping the date on this label, and you saw me with that tag that I cut. I do cut a chunk out of it so it'll slide under that square. Just give me a close up there. So I do cut a chunk out of that tag from the pattern paper that I cut to fit under that square. I've then got a phrase sticker that's on top of that, and I've just put some 3D foam there behind that label tag, the label, so that it doesn't disappear when it goes in the page. Sorry, squeaky chair. Just adding another word phrase there as well. I do play about with some of the embellishments, but I really don't do much more to this page. Add that tab next to that daft picture of Mr. Ding sticking his tongue out at me, and then one of those sort of red paint splash ones under the bottom photo there. And then I play about with these hearts. So I originally put a red one on, but it's a red square next to it, so I didn't think it looked right. I then put a yellow one on, and it's on top of the yellow square, so I don't think it's right. So you'll see in a minute, I'll come back and talk to you real time, that I do actually put both on. So yeah, let's get back. Right, so I think we're going to call that done. It wasn't meant to be a scrap lift, but it turns out to be a scrap lift of a member of the DLS design team who did something similar. As I said, it didn't mean to be a scrap lift, it was just me not wanting these pictures disappearing in that paper, wanting to lift them up. And then when I've gone looking for inspiration on embellishing, yeah, something similar. But you know, I love how it's turned out. We've got the little bits around this photo up here. My journaling is using on the stamps. A little bit here, a little bit here. Got title there, the puffies on a stamped square, and a little bit there. So I'm happy with that. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.